Yeah, I think it's probably the best Sentinel in the game right now. She just kinda has everything. She has stall, she has a trip that can't be broken. Her ultimate's very good. I mean, it's like most Sentinel ultimates aren't that good, except for like Sage Res. But just having a giant killjoy ult that makes people not have primaries is pretty insane.
Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview covering VCT Americas KICKOFF 2025 for Media Day, of course. For this occasion, I'm here accompanied by Leaf of G2 Esports, looking to start off the year on a right foot in kickoff, move on to Masters and continue all that stuff. But still, Leaf, thank you so much for giving me a chance to talk to you. It's a new year, new you, new team, or not really new team, new version of a team and new expectations, and I would say also a new leaf. Try to do
Hmm.
that pun right there. Give me a rating real quick after that. But um, just want to ask you, just sort of, how did you spend more so the offseason? Coming off of champions, having to slot Jogimo into the team, play a few off-season events, and then continue that preparation up until up until now. So how has that kind of off-season been like for you?
It's been a grind. We haven't had too much time off because, our main priority has just been kickoff and winning it. So we went to Germany, did the tournament, the Red Bull home ground tournament there, and boot camped a little. Came back, and then we couldn't instantly practice because we had a spotlight series, so we weren't practicing during that. But we had spotlight series, and then afterwards we've just been kind of grinding. We had like 3 or 4 days off for Christmas, and then 3 days off for the New Year. But other than that, yeah, we've just been kind of grinding it out past couple of months.
I've had a few. I've talked to a few of your other teammates right before this conversation. They kind of mentioned to me about the biggest takeaway that they had from the off season, having to learn with like a new team with Jogimo into the mix, having to slot into the G2 system. And I want to ask you for you in particular, Leaf. What's been the biggest takeaway for you? What kind of thing have you been trying to adjust? Has it been just mostly focusing on the new meta, having to focus on new maps or anything like that? What do you think?
I mean everything. Like Tejo got introduced pretty recently. Fracture and Lotus get back into the map pool. Vyse also wasn't really able to be played last year in VCT. It was obviously played in Red Bull Homeground and Spotlight Series, but we haven't played true like VCT matches with it. So there's a lot that changed, especially with Teo being introduced, and then Vice also very very good. I mean, she got buffed recently as well, so it's like there's a ton with new players like for every single team. Like we're definitely not at like a disadvantage compared to everybody else, but it's just kind of like a shock. Like there's so much stuff that changed in the past couple months.
In a lot of ways, it's basically the same as it was for all of VCT. In the history leading up to it, having to deal with new changes very close to the start of a given event and having to work from there. You mentioned right there, Vice. I mean, I remember that agent was heavily promoted during Champions 2024, finally released after the event, and then having to see teams or players play with that agent. As a Sentinel, I gotta ask you your thoughts on Vice. Not only do I want to know about your thoughts on the age and how it's been throughout the off season up until now. Do you feel like it has the potential to be very present in the meta coming into 2025?
Yeah, I think it's probably the best Sentinel in the game right now. Um, for what she does. I mean, she just kind of has everything. She has stall, she has a trip that can't be broken. Her ultimate's very good. I mean, it's like most Sentinel ultimates aren't that good, except for like Sage Res. But just having a giant killjoy ult that makes people not have primaries is pretty insane. So I think she'll be used on a decent amount of maps, and the thorns are also just insane. Like her whole kit across the board is pretty strong. So we're probably gonna see a lot of it. It's not really gimmicky, but it is very like cringe to play against because it's just annoying. Like you just get wall, flash, thorn. You can't really move.
Well, is it fair to say that we're going to see like a few matches of you playing Ray or Vice?
Um, maybe, maybe not. We, c- yeah. I mean, I can't really say, but yeah. I mean, I definitely think that it'll be played at least some point in this year.
course, in other words, I'm gonna take that as a yes. So definitely gonna be
Yeah.
looking forward to that. Well, just focusing more specifically back onto your leaf. I mean, I would say 2024 was a very successful year for you individually speaking, because I remember you started off as the duelist, moved over to Sentinel to make way for IC, and then had to replace Net. And then when that switch was made, there was plenty of question marks as to like, okay, whether are you going to hang in this new role? Obviously, we saw how that turned out. The short answer to that is yes. And you were so
Mhm.
good that you were able to become Sentinel of the Year of the league, well deserved honor. And so, and also on top of that, you helped contribute G2 to finishing second place in both stages, and then also finishing top three in Shanghai, and also impressing as well in champions. Sure, you guys started off well, but and of course you guys ended up falling short in playoffs, but still, just having to look at the entire line of work, a very well performance, I would say. So I want to ask to you, Leaf, having to jumble all that together, how'd you kind of look back on your 2024 and the road you took to kind of be in the position that you were in at the very end of it?
Um, I mean, it kind of ended bittersweet in Korea. We obviously thought we were not favored to win, but we had higher expectations for ourselves compared to what we did. Um, I think that like the whole year was a success. I don't really care too much about my individual performance because I just kind of play how I play. Like I don't. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like obviously, like majority of the time it does, but as long as I'm doing what I think is right and like what my like to help my team, then that's all I really care about. So yeah, like in general, like I'm just gonna make sure I do the same thing this year. Improve on what I need to improve on, and then make sure to just keep the consistency.
What do you think has been the biggest adjustment or more so adaptation for you from off season, or more so from 2024 into heading into 2025?
Um, just learning like different agents. Um, I didn't play a lot of Cypher last year in the VCT stage, mainly because it wasn't really prevalent in the meta. There was like two maps that you could play it on, which were Sunset, which we permabanned, and like Haven, which I played Killjoy on. So, um, Cypher learning Vyse now, Deadlock even too maybe. So it's like all learning all these new agents. They have different roles in different ways of playing them, and then it's obviously just like kind of just reinforcing the good stuff on the other agents that I play. Like the Vipers and the Killjoys. But yeah, mainly just learning new stuff because the game's always changing. I need to make sure that I'm the best at everything that is in my like job criteria basically, which is like the central role. So that's mainly just been the main focus.
I mean, now looking over into the meta, what do you feel is like? I mean, comparing this to last year, at that point, we saw like I believe the Sky nerfs, and then like we saw a heavy prevalence of Rays and their conversation about that. And now you compare that to right now with Tejo getting into the mix, and then on top of that, the Neon nerfs and stuff like that is done during the off season. How do you kind of look at the meta nowadays? As we now gear up for kickoff, and basically as I believe you kind of put it, everybody's having to deal with a new roster, new system, new things in place. So how do you kind of look at that?
I mean, it's just like classic Riot. Like they always release some new stuff, whether it's a map pool change or really major buffs or major nerfs or a new agent. So it's like we're kind of used to it by now. I think all of us are. We've all been in like the pro or like semi-pro scene for long enough that we know this stuff. I think it benefits us a ton just because we do put the work in to make sure that we aren't just one tricks on our agents, um, and we make sure that we have different like good ideas, reinforce those ideas and stuff like that. So I think just in general, it's just about making sure we grind it out. That's why we start practice earlier than other teams. And just make when you put in like a new player, even if it's one person change, that's a lot. Like one person has to absorb all the information that you guys have learned as a core four, and then you have to learn also like what that person likes. So it's like we need to just make sure we put the work in.
I understand that. And now pivoting over to two real quick questions before I wrap it up. Obviously, as I'm sure you're very aware of, with the addition of Jogimo into G2 and looking at G2's line of work in 2024, many people are saying G2 is like number one contender for winning, or more so being at the top of VCT Americas. So I want to ask you, do you how do you kind of look at that? Do you kind of pay attention to that? Do you feel that's like kind of stuff is valid or something?
Um, I mean, to be honest, I don't really care like how people perceive us because it's like even like last year and stuff like that, it's like people rooted us as underdogs the whole time. People really don't know what they're talking about. They follow clout over actual like results most of the time. And if you have one bad result, then they just never let go of that one bad result. They just hang it over your head the whole time. So it's like I don't really care. Especially like some fans on some teams are just very loud and outspoken. So it's like you don't really care about them because they're gonna have their opinion and you can't change it.
Yeah, of course. I definitely understand the mindset. And one more question before I wrap it up. I mean, it's more so a little bit of a side topic compared to the other things that we've been talking about in this conversation. I mean, Leaf covering like, well, how I want to start off of this is that I would say like in terms of your Twitter game is pretty interesting, I would say. Sometimes you put in with like a standard game day tweet, and then other days you put in the tweet like of SpongeBob, and then other things you put in tweets
Mhm.
of Pokemon. One thing that I want to focus on in particular, or one tweet that I want to focus on in particular, to be more exact, is this. I think it might be blurred out from the camera, but just to show you,
Oh,
it's a
Joe
pic.
Burrow watching SpongeBob.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
a tweet of Joe Burrow with watching a tablet during a game, NFL game, and then you see right there it's
yeah,
a
SpongeBob SquarePants.
SpongeBob SquarePants. So I want to ask you, what are you implying there? Is that like a secret subliminal message of you being so focused onto Valorant that's kind of similar to playing or more so watching SpongeBob?
I mean, nah, I mean, I just enjoy a little SpongeBob, like who doesn't like the square? Um, I think I just find funny pictures and I just repost them, they're just funny. I mean, just nothing wrong with a good old laugh once in a while. And I'm a decent I like the Bengals a lot, like Joe Burrow. So it's a good picture for me. I like everything in that.
I mean, did you post a picture of SpongeBob in your most recent tweet, like saying with the caption "Game Day"? There's got to be a correlation. There's got to be like a correlation between Valorant and
Yeah,
SpongeBob,
because who
right?
doesn't like SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Everybody likes SpongeBob. Can't hate on it.
I mean, I
I
like
just I
SpongeBob
just tweet
too.
I just tweet what I like. That's all it is.
I'm just trying to find a connection between that and Valorant because I feel like there's something there.
Um, I mean, SpongeBob kind of looks like Brimstone, like kind
Okay.
of similar. So that's probably what it is.
All right.
Like it's probably my subconscious.
Okay, yeah. That's definitely the 100% answer that I will definitely
Mhm.
go with and print it out onto the video.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Relief, thank you so much for doing this quick interview. Giving me a sense of you turning over a new leaf. There you go. That's
Mhm.
wanted to squeeze that in one more time. And so, nothing else to say other than best of luck goes to you in kickoff.
Thank you.